Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Since this is the end of the year, this might be my last video in 2020. I wanted to retrospect on things that have happened in the immigration space in US and Canada over the year of 2020, and also would like to give you a glimpse of what's to come in 2021 in terms of immigration in United States and some of it in Canada as well. I'd also like to give you my perspective on how I started this channel and where I have reached. So if you're interested in this, please watch this video until the end and let's get started. First of all, I would like to thank you for all your support to this channel. I have lived in the United States and Canada for the last 20 plus years, and I have gone through a lot of career changes as well as immigration related changes. But this year was very different. Not only it has changed the way we live our lives and the way we work, it has impacted our day-to-day life. It gave us time to appreciate what we already have and what could be done more. I was not new to YouTube. In fact, I was very active on YouTube making my other channel for my daughter's piano videos. She is an amazing piano player, and if you would like to check out her channel, you can check it out in the description of this video. Fortunately, I do have a great full-time job, some rentals, and I get to spend a lot of good time with my daughter's music. I have also gone through 2 immigration systems, US and Canada. Mind you, these are the most sought after countries to immigrate to, and they have very different immigration systems. One is very straightforward and has a stringent eligibility criteria, whereas the other one is hell of a lot complicated, and you know which ones I'm talking about. So I knew I had a lot to share with all of you. Finally, pandemic and work from home situation gave me time to reflect and kind of gave me an opportunity to work on a project that I have been thinking about for a long time. And that was to help people who are going through the same immigration maze as I once did. I wanted to provide as much information and as much help who are going through the same situation as I once did. Trust me, when I went through my immigration process with US and Canada, there was very limited information available to me. So I had to navigate by myself through this immigration maze and make some mistakes and make some decisions, which in retrospect, I'm glad I did. But all in all, I came out successful on the other side. Thus, setting out to make a difference in the community and to provide as much help as possible from my experience, I set out to start this channel in May of 2020. I made my first video in the end of May 2020, and I never expected that I would get so much success and so much interest in all of my videos. I never had a moment where I had to think about my next topic. Most of the viewers already had a list of topics for me to continue to make on an ongoing basis, and this was amazing. And now with your support, so in 7 months and 120 videos later, we have 40,000 subscribers and counting. And this is all because of the support that you have shown to my channel and the trust that you have put in me. And I hope to be able to continue to do meaningful videos and make a difference in your lives going forward. I get hundreds of comments and emails every single day. It is practically impossible for me to reply to all of them, but I do as much as I can. So thank you again for your support and reaching 40,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Now let's look at what are the things that have happened in 2020 in US immigration as well as Canada immigration. And I will give you a glimpse of what can happen in 2021. Now we saw some major changes coming into 2020. With the pandemic started early on in the year, there were changes in the way H-1B lottery was done. They changed the ways they allocated the visas for masters versus the regular applicant. So that was one of the biggest change that we saw in US immigration in H-1B. The next change we saw was the travel ban. The travel ban was put in place in April and it continued until December. So it will be until the end of this year in December 31st. I don't see it getting any extension, not yet at least, and even if it does, it will get cancelled by the next administration. Then there were a lot of different policy memos that came in where they had some bans that were lifted, some bans that were challenged in the court, and then some ban that still exist to this day. And pandemic added to the situation that the consulates were closed. So it impacted a lot of people because they were not able to travel, and some of them who were able to travel were not able to come back. because their visas were expired and they were not able to get appointments at the consulates because they were closed. We also saw the shift in the way USCIS operates. Instead of a service-oriented firm, now they were shifting towards enforcement kind of activities. We saw that a lot in this year. There were no major immigration reforms, but the processing times were hugely increased. We saw delays in every application. EAD, may it be EAD, may it be H1B extensions, H1B transfers, EAD extensions, those sort of things. We saw a lot of processing delays in every application in 2020. Then we also saw fee increases came in. We saw some new forms that were introduced. We saw Form 944 which was attached to a lot of different applications to prove that you are able to sustain on your own and does not become a burden on the economy. That was challenged, it went off, it came back, it went off again. And then lastly we saw a big priority dates jump in the EB category, and that was because of the spillovers of visas that were not issued by consulates in the family category. So a lot of people who were waiting in line in EB2 and EB3 category suddenly saw themselves being able to apply for adjustment of status. Towards the end of the year, there were different things that happened. There was S386 bill that was passed by the Senate, and it kind of raised our hopes that finally this bill will be passed, but that did not happen. And now we have other issues. Because of this flood of applications from EB2 and EB3, there are some people who still haven't received their receipt notices. I'm hearing that receipt notices have come in for people who applied early on in October, but from mid to late October, November and December, receipt notices are taking anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Now, since we are on that topic, I want to quickly address two questions that came in. If you haven't received your receipt notice and if your application is eventually accepted, you'll still get a receipt notice and your application will be processed regardless of which chart USCIS uses in January. So now in January, they are changing it back to the final action date chart. But if you have applied in October, November and December based on the filing date chart, your application will still be accepted as long as it is complete and it is accurate. Now, if your application gets rejected post January 1st, then that could be a problem. The only way for you to challenge it if it was rejected for missing information, you could challenge that as a technical error and still get through. But if it was rejected for a legitimate purpose, then it might be a problem, because unless you are eligible to apply again in January as per the final action dates chart, you won't be able to apply again. Now, what can we expect to see in the new year? The new administration will take charge from January of 20th. Now, as I mentioned in my previous videos, the focus of the new administration is, although it is going to be pro-immigration, it is going to be pro-family migration. So they won't necessarily make a whole lot of changes for employment-based categories. The first and immediate thing that will go away is the travel ban that everybody can expect. The enforcement part of the agency for USCIS may scale back a little bit. Because of the new DHS head, it will be more of a service-oriented USCIS back to the older days. Now, the fee increase may remain in place. It is something to do with the USCIS operations and funding. So I don't see the new administration may necessarily act on bringing the fees down. The fee increases may continue to happen. Priority date moments will not change as well. It will be dependent on how many number of visas are still available. So as long as Congress does not increase the limit or the quota, nothing is going to change. So priority date movements will still continue to happen at the same pace regardless of the new administration. The regulations for salary increases with H1B may still go forward. I don't see it changing with the new administration. Now, biometrics requirement for I-539 might go away, but that is not for sure, because that was not in place before the current administration. Now it's in place and it's delaying the process for unreasonable levels. And finally, the S386 bill and HR 1044 bill may come back under the new numbers. So those numbers will no longer be valid. They will have their own new numbers and they may have the different language. So because we have seen so much activity in those two bills, I am pretty sure that they are going to resurface in the form of new bills in the new year, and it will have to go through the same process through Senate and through House in order to become a law. So we'll see what happens with those new bills if and when they come along. So those were the changes that we can expect in US immigration. On the Canadian side, they have announced that for the next 3 years, they are going to increase the immigration level significantly. About 400,000 new immigrants are expected to come in year 2021. By year 2022, it will be 411,000, and in year 2023, it will be 421,000 new immigrants in that particular year. So we'll see an immigration level increase to compensate for the lost immigration in 2020. And then there are also some new programs for Canadian immigration that are coming up, specifically Newfoundland and Labrador skilled immigrant program that I made a separate that you can check out. So there are some positive changes coming in Canadian immigration as well. So I hope you liked the content of this video and it has helped you a little bit. I hope you continue to support my channel as you always did. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And I will see you in the next one.